You're standing at a cafe counter, and a barista just slides a fresh plate of avocado toast right toward you. Before you tap your card, think about the price tag. Why does this exact combination of fruit and bread cost $14? And how did it arrive right at the exact moment you wanted breakfast? The answer starts with an inescapable math problem called scarcity. As humans, we want infinite stuff, but the planet only has a finite amount of land, water, and time to produce it. Because there isn't enough of everything to go around, every decision carries a hidden penalty called opportunity cost. The time, ingredients, and energy spent making your toast means someone actively chose not to use those exact resources to bake a croissant or grow a different crop. You certainly didn't grow the avocados, harvest the wheat, and assemble the espresso machine yourself. Because no individual has the time or resources to do all of that simultaneously, we are forced to interact and trade with each other. To make that interaction happen, we use the market. Whether it's a physical storefront or a digital network, a market is simply the space where buyers and sellers meet to exchange their limited resources for the things they actually want. That $14 price tag is the final physical receipt for a massive, unseen system of human choices dealing with limited global resources. Every supply chain starts with 3 ingredients: natural resources like land, human labor to harvest, and man-made capital to process it all. Combining these effectively dictates productivity, creating a steady stream of output with far less wasted effort. Look around your local cafe. The climate in your city probably isn't suited to growing both tropical fruit and winter wheat. Instead of forcing it, countries rely on comparative advantage. This is the mathematical reality that even if one region is terrible at producing almost everything, they should still specialize in whatever they are least bad at. This allows the entire global system to produce more total goods. That specialization builds our modern supply chain. A farm in Mexico focuses purely on avocados, a massive stretch of plains focuses on wheat, and shipping networks physically link them right to your local cafe. It usually runs so smoothly that we ignore how fragile the setup actually is. When a single container ship gets wedged sideways in the Suez Canal, billions of dollars of trade freeze, and the ripple effects delay products worldwide. Your morning routine relies entirely on this precise ballet of global logistics, a highly optimized sequence of handoffs that remains invisible until a single error stalls the entire world economy. Back inside the cafe, the owner has to pay for their expensive espresso machines and ovens. They usually do this through loans, utilizing fractional reserve banking, where commercial banks lend out a portion of their deposited cash to fund local businesses. With the business funded and the ingredients shipped, the cafe owner needs to set a price. You and the owner manage to agree on $14 without haggling because of the constant push and pull forces of supply and demand. This chart shows how those forces interact. The downward curve represents how much consumers want to buy, and the upward curve is how much sellers will produce. The exact point where they intersect is the equilibrium price, the dollar amount where everyone is satisfied. That delicate balance breaks if macro forces intervene. If a central bank decides to rapidly expand the money supply by printing more currency, you suddenly have a larger amount of dollars chasing the exact same amount of toast. When supply stays flat, but the currency volume explodes, prices rise. Push this to the absolute extreme, and you get hyperinflation. The currency completely loses its ability to act as a reliable store of value, leading to situations where it takes a $100 trillion note just to buy lunch. The $14 price tag remains a highly sensitive, temporary compromise between the world's capacity to produce goods and the nation's supply of money. Let's zoom all the way back to the register. You are holding your card, staring at the screen, preparing to pay $14 for your meal. The very fact that you're willing to spend that much on some mashed fruit and bread highlights the core premise of behavioral economics. Humans are not perfectly rational calculators. Instead of computing perfect equilibrium models in our heads, we act like chaos merchants. We are driven by psychological quirks. We overvalue immediate rewards through hyperbolic discounting. We hate the feeling of losing money. And sometimes we buy things based entirely on aesthetics and vibes. Since we rarely act in our own long-term best interest, businesses and governments rely on nudges to keep the economy moving. From the pre-selected tip amounts on that tablet in front of you to the way apps use notifications to trigger your next impulse purchase. The market is constantly steering your chaotic impulses to ensure the gears of the global machine keep turning. Your toast exists because billions of strangers manage to coordinate across oceans and borders, driven by a mixture of math, trust, and sheer desperation. That collective, miraculous mess of human behavior is the reality of economics.